let's before we jump to who we think's going to win it all. What do you think? Which conference do you think's the best? Obviously, now it's down to two. Sawyer and I were talking about this before, Collin, before you joined or before we did the call, but I'm leaning Big Ten's actually a better conference and has been the last couple of years in the SEC. I see them with like three legit national title contenders: Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State. Then I see several good top 25 programs with Iowa, Southern Cal, Washington, possibly Michigan. I think Michigan could be pretty good. Illinois possibly as well. So they're really Nebraska maybe. Nebraska's I don't think they're that great yet, but they're starting to climb the ladder a little bit. But I think the Big Ten right now is a overall stronger league than the SEC. SEC might have more top 25-ish teams, but I don't think there's a lot of elite teams in the SEC. And then when you get to the bottom, you got Arkansas and Mississippi State and Kentucky. Those teams aren't that good. And so
I might would argue, I might would argue that the SEC may be more talented than the Big Ten.
Possibly.
But coaching-wise, no. The Big Ten surpasses that by a mile.
Yeah.
I've seen that the past 3 years. Which, look, I don't like it as much as you guys do. With the, especially the Big Ten being the better conference. But you have to give her credit, is due.
To me, with the SEC, and I give people a hard time about this, but SEC needs to win its non-conference games, win its bowl games, win its playoff games if they want to brag about being the best. You can't have stuff like 10-3 Vanderbilt losing to 8-4 Iowa, especially when Diego Pavia is playing. You can't have every SEC team losing to, basically the only SEC teams that advanced when they played each other, or that one game Ole Miss had against Liberty. That Liberty was the only playoff team, non-playoff team, an SEC team beat in the tournament. In the playoffs. So, and then you had Tennessee. We didn't do very good either. We lost to Illinois in our bowl game off a missed field goal. Once again, our field goal kicker letting us down like he did 3 games that year. But until you start winning these,
we got our butts kicked by Indiana.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, until we start winning these games, you can't. You can't go out and say, "Oh, we got Tennessee on our schedule," and not say, "Well, we got Illinois and Iowa on our schedule," because those are good teams. You can't really, just because they don't sound like an LSU or a Tennessee. Illinois would have beat LSU and Tennessee last year. Illinois
it was
did
so
beat
much
Tennessee.
easier when the SEC, won 7 straight national championships.
Yeah,
it was so much easier then. Man,
that was kind of the high. I feel like 06 to like 2013 was kind of like the high point of the SEC when you had multiple teams. They were pretty good late 2010s when Kirby Smart turned around Georgia. You had Georgia, Dan Mullen, Florida. LSU won the title in 2019 with Joe Burrow. Alabama still had Saban, was still really good. And you had a couple other teams here and there, like Auburn a few years. But it was still a pretty good league then as well. But yeah, it's still a really good league. I don't know. It needs to kind of reclaim its mojo, and to do that, you don't need Georgia and Texas losing the first game of playoff. They need to advance, or they need to live up to hype. You need probably somebody else to jump in the picture, an LSU or Oklahoma or somebody, and maybe a good bowl season for once. Because it's
I agree with that. Yeah, definitely a good bowl season.
Collin, how about you? I'm sorry, we should have let you talk. Are you in alignment? Do you think the Big Ten's better?
Okay, if you asked me, I don't know, 5 years ago, I would have been like, no way. Like, obviously, I think the SEC clears. But over the last 3 years, it's been like, well, because it's like, both of you guys kind of said this, on paper, LSU, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss, like these huge names pop out and they're like, well, obviously the SEC. But for one, Big Ten has a little conference, Indiana, rise up and is now one of the big guys, something that is working against the SEC. And I think what honestly is the most important thing, at least what I see people argue the most about, bowl games.
Yeah.
Forget, Ohio State beating Texas in the regular season or, these regular season games. These bowl games matter. Regardless if it's the Pop-Tart Bowl or the Music City Bowl or, even if it, you don't get to host the national championship, these still matter to these programs. And over the past, 4 years, we have a losing record and a bad losing record against not only Big Ten opponents when we played the bowl game, but against everybody. I remember, I don't even remember, it was 5 years ago, Tennessee lost to Purdue in the Music City Bowl or something, and that's just cherry picking. I don't know why I said that. You get the point. But you get the point. And it's always, we can't close that. I think Vanderbilt had a lead against Iowa and they lost that game. I think you guys were beating Illinois and you lost that game. That doesn't really matter how you lose the game, but regardless, you're losing against these small programs, Illinois and Iowa. They're not small, but they're not the Tennessee or the LSU or the Vanderbilt, apparently, the SEC boasts about. I think right now, I would have to give it to the Big Ten just based off what I've seen. Do I want to? No. In my eyes, as a Georgia fan, it hurts because so many Big Ten, especially on social media over the past 2 years, oh, look at us, we've won 2 straight national championships, we're just the greatest people ever. 3. And 3 now. Oh, we're
Michigan,
just look at
Indiana.
Yeah.
And you can't argue with it anymore, they're not wrong. None of them were Mickey Mouse wins or anything, I got to give it to Big Ten.
So Josh Pate said something interesting about the SEC, and you can consider the higher tier Big Ten programs like this too, like the Ohio States and Penn States of the world. He said, what made Indiana work, you could say it's what made Vanderbilt, even Illinois and Iowa, some of these guys work a little better that makes it harder on SEC teams, is the fans of SEC programs will watch and look at recruiting rankings, so the coaches can't really pick the players they want. They have to bring in, oh, you didn't get a top 10 recruiting class, coach. What's your program must be failing, and then their job gets in jeopardy. Same with the assistant coaches. Kurt Cinetti can go get whoever he wanted at Indiana. The Indiana fans didn't care. They didn't care what players he got. They didn't in the transfer portal or recruited. They didn't care what coaches he got, and he got people that could win in his system. And in the SEC, they're bringing in coaches because of name, and they feel like you failed if you haven't done that. So you get, we've had some challenges I've heard in the SEC where you got the programs have been under pressure to hire who the fans wanted, get the play, have these top recruiting classes, and you get the Chaz Coleman, Nico Liamas of the world who all they're 5 stars, but they're not really 5 stars, or they want to just hold you up for money. While Indiana's bringing in these 23-year-old 3 stars that are more mature, want to learn their program, want to play hard, and actually care. Mm-hmm. And Illinois, take Illinois and Tennessee. Illinois had more of its players return for the bowl game. Their players were more interested in winning that bowl game than the Tennessee players. Because Tennessee's too busy trying to stack 4 and 5 stars that half the time quit on them. That's why LSU won 6 games last year. Their team gave up halfway through the season. And it shows. And then they're start looking at what other school they want to go to. Well, some of these players at Illinois and Indiana, they're not the 4 or 5 star guys, but they got the heart, I guess. They're like the Rudies or something. And maybe that's what's kind of going on with some of this. But granted, it doesn't explain Ohio State functions like an SEC program. Their fan base is that same way, so it's not all the Big Ten. And you got some SEC schools like Saban. That's something that was always remarkable to me about Saban was he always continued to keep that dynasty going, while other dynasties even with Pete Carroll, Philip Fulmer, sometimes Spurrier, they would all have a period they'd fall off because the players got all the big head and they couldn't keep the players
Mm-hmm.
Saban kept it going where a lot of these guys could not.
Right. He made it to where you're going to do it my way or you're not.
Yeah.
And if you do it my way, you will be successful. Even in no matter where you go in the NFL or you stay another year, you will improve. That's why I love Saban and what he preached, what he coached. That you don't get that anymore. You just don't because all this college football is now is about money. It's all about the money, and it is truly ruining the sport. It really is, especially for fans like you and me. I don't like the way that it's heading with all this legal mumbo jumbo crap. I mean, I'm sure Matt, you know some legal stuff here and there with all this, but I mean, look, it's keeping your focus away from what the game actually is and what it is turning into be.
That's a good segue. Before we pick national title, let's go to the Texas Tech story. And Colin,
Oh yeah.
I'll let Sawyer me just spoke. I'll let you kind of start it out.
I mean, where do I even? Okay, look, and I followed Sorsby at Cincinnati because after we beat them in like 2020 in the I think it was the Orange Bowl or Peach Bowl in the quarantine year, and we beat them. I followed them loosely, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Sorsby was balling out at Cincinnati, good for him, and he transferred to Texas Tech, and I was like, okay, you get yourself a bag, and you're gambling. Okay, well, wow. I don't. Okay. Look. I'm sure gambling's fun. I'm not old enough to gamble, but I'm sure. I'm sure it's fun, and I'm sure you get a kick out of it.
It's a love and hate relationship.
No, you've seen NBA. MLB, NFL, college. I mean, everywhere. These people getting caught gambling, and they get fined, they get banned, they can't play, and you go do it.
Pete Rose, still not out.
Yeah.
Still in the MLB Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's dead now, and he's still. I mean, he could be in the Hall of Fame in the next 2 years.
Yeah,
because they changed the rules.
Yeah, but. Yeah, here's the thing. He could have been on NFL, NBA. When you're playing college football, you shouldn't be bidding on college football. When you're playing Major League Baseball, you shouldn't be bidding on Major League Baseball. There are other ways you could gamble outside of and it's inside trading, just like with government officials, which happens all the time, the corruption with our government. People, and I don't want to get into politics, but people, I know some decision the government's going to make in a few months, and I'm going to invest in a certain company to get a benefit off that decision, that new ruling from the government. I mean, it happens. It happens.
I mean, Brennan Sorsby, he was literally gambling at Cincinnati when he was with Cincinnati.
His own games.
I mean, yes. Dude, come on. I honestly do not know what his legal team said to him, but they had to have been like, hey, if you announce that you're going to rehab, for gambling, then you're going to be in a better shot if they find out, off the side, and then the whole scandal happens. That's what really is in my head right now, that his legal team said that to him, and he was like, oh, well, yeah, that makes kind of sense. But now look where he's at. He could potentially not play this year, or at least have a 5-game suspension. And you know that if he throws that first pick in a game, all hell is going to break loose.
Yeah.
You know it.
It's just the state of the sport, and the fact that the courts continually are ruling against the NCAA. The NCAA is losing more and more power.
Oh yeah,
and
but they brought this dude, the court judge, out of retirement for his case, and then he ruled Sorsby eligible to play. I mean, obviously he's a Texas Tech guy. This court judge is, so behind the scenes, he was either probably bribed or Yeah, he really loves Texas Tech, and he wants to see his team do well.
These Texas football teams don't mess around. That's why the Southwest Conference went kaput because they're cheating. They're all over it. I mean, SMU, yeah, which I bet they're cheating, right? You think all these? Look how good SMU's been. TCU, Texas Tech, they're all ready to go. Maybe SEC should just send Texas A&M back, and they could just call it the Texas Cheating Oil Conference and invite all teams to Texas in it. Make them all play each other.
Yeah, that old money, old gambling money, man.
Yeah, well, actually, thinking about the conferences, it is kind of surprised by the Big Ten because one thing I always thought too was, Oklahoma and Texas. I could see without them the SEC getting surpassed, but having them in the SEC now that I think about Texas reminds me of that. It's like, and they are holding up their bargain. Both of them are in the borderline. Some of them we had both of them in the top 10. They're doing their part. But, yeah, when they joined, I thought that was a better ad than Southern Cal and Oregon. Maybe the SEC maybe we just didn't add enough teams. Maybe we should have added Clemson and Florida State. Maybe we should have added. Well, with the way they're acting, maybe we should have added Texas Tech. They just fit in right with the cheating conference.
Well, let's all just hope and pray that we don't begin to hear, rumblings of Super League teams. Or Super League.
It's going to come with the ACC.
I'm sure y'all heard about it too.
The ACC is going to get poached at some point. It's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And there'll probably be a few Big 12 teams sitting out there that are still kind of worth some money, like maybe Kansas that somebody grabs, but maybe Texas Tech. They're spending that much money, but they'll try to buy their way into the SEC. But yeah, there's going to be a few. I don't think we're totally done yet. And then maybe the Big Ten and the SEC will become the AFC and the NFC, and they'll merge together. Then maybe we'll make divisions. We'll make divisions, and we'll have the Big East, the Pac-12. Maybe we might get back to square one. We might actually get the old rivalries back again. You'll have like a big. We'll take all the SEC schools that used to be part of the Big 12. We'll move them to a Big 12 division, and then you'll have like that west chunk of the Big 10 to come with the Pac-12 division. Mm-hmm. Put Penn State,
or maybe hopefully they
Maryland.
Get rid of this NIL era of football. But you know damn well, as much as I do, that's not going to happen. Not with what we're dealing with today. It's just it's a money league, money conferences. Who has the more money?
Well, that's everything.
All these contracts.
That's everything.
That's the NFL too. I mean, but still.
Well, it's everything in the United States too. I mean, everything's corrupted money right now. I guess this is going to be hard on me. I haven't even thought of this yet. But let's to finish it out. Let's go with we'll do like a mid-season. Once season starts off, we'll do a mid-season refining of this. But let's pick a preseason team. Maybe we touch base right for the season in case something chaotic happens in the off season. But once again, Apple or Collin, who do you got to win it all? If you had to pick somebody, I guess we'd go with our number ones. So maybe Oregon.
And I'm okay. I'm sure everybody says this every year, like, oh, it's so hard to pick one this year. This year, I mean, honestly, my 1 through 14, I could see winning it all. Like legit, like the last time I saw it this open was shoot, I don't even remember. I was so young. Every year, and once again, we say this every year, always it's 3 or 4 teams. This year, I mean, normally it actually is at the most 6 teams. Once again, I could make a case for 15 different teams. On that note, I'm gonna go Oregon. I mean, and it's like the safe pick, you can't if you pick Oregon, Ohio State, you're not gonna look, like an idiot. I mean, I hope not. Maybe they'll sell the organization or something. I don't know. But you can almost surely expect them to make it at least into the playoffs. And I think Oregon just has the best chance, and I'm just going really off of Dante Moore. Like it starts with Moore, and then you branch out into the the completeness of the team. And I as much as he has not proved himself, like Sawyer said, Dan Lanning truthfully has not proved himself. He hasn't. He won the Pac-12. Yes, sure. Has he won the Big Ten? No. Has he won? Has he even won a playoff game? No, no, not at Oregon. I don't think he really hasn't proved himself.
They won a playoff game last year. It was at who was it they beat? It was
it was. It was the team that should have been in there.
It was James the other Liberty. Whoever
JMU. It was James Madison.
James Madison. Yeah, they didn't play him.
That does not count.
Yeah, that does not count. Exactly. Yes, that does not count.
What that honestly proves my point even more that Dan Lanning has not proved himself, which is like I'm not even really harping on him. As good of a team as he has, I'm really not trying to harp on him. This is his year. If he does not prove himself this year, I'm gonna start bashing him, and he's not gonna like it. I think really this is his best year. Yes, he's had Dylan Gabriel, Bo Nix, whatever. I honestly think in college, Dante Moore is better than Dylan Gabriel was. I mean, at least I think this year he will be. I don't think last year he was. I think this is his best year to do it regardless. I think Oregon is my pick, but it's like a more like... I might change my pick, is what I'm saying.
So what I'm hearing, Collin, you need to go to an Oregon game, pull out a speaker, be yelling at Dan Lanning if you don't.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Okay. And no, I honestly I can't argue with any of that. You're right on point. I do think they've had a trickier road, kind of like Georgia. Georgia's, you could say, granted, Kirk Smart's proven before the 12-team playoff he can win, which makes me think he can in 12-team. They just had some bad luck, and I think Oregon might be in that boat as well. But we'll see that they're really probably a team that can advance very well, even in those past years. Pick a, let's say this. I want to do one other. I thought about this. A dark horse team. Somebody that's not anybody's top 10 tonight that you could pick just to come out of nowhere and have fun with.
Me?
Yeah.
Huh.
And Sawyer keep that in mind too.
I was truthfully thinking about this, and it's a dark horse for a reason. I really shouldn't say this. I love Brent Key. I love what he's done at Georgia Tech. It's a dark horse for a reason. I would have them at call it 14. And I did explain how I could explain 15 teams that could win the Natty. I don't know how high I would be on Mendoza's brother. Shoot, I don't even remember his first name. It was Roberto Mendoza or something. I don't know. And that's more if he can ball out like his brother, I think the rest can possibly align. Once again, with Brett Key, I think he's a pretty good coach. He hasn't proved himself, but then how is he any worse than Dan Lanning? That's not important. I really like him as a coach. I think he has that fire aspect that you need to, if you want to be a dark horse team, you need to have a coach that's willing to win. Brent Key is one of those guys. I think they could certainly, if they get lucky, they could make the playoffs. I think that would be maybe my third ACC pick. I think if they get past Miami, I don't know how far they could go, but I think that's my dark horse pick, Georgia Tech.
Well, I'm a little nervous in their Tennessee plays them in Atlanta in week 2. That's going to be a tougher game for us. I did hear that they have to reload most of their team, though. They're one of the youngest teams. Yeah. That may be their weakness, hopefully. I don't know. It's a nerve-wracking game for my Vols. I guess since I picked them number 1, I'm going to go with Georgia. Miami has me really thinking about them. Indiana has me really thinking about them. Ohio State and Oregon. Yeah, there's just so many teams out there. But I'm going to stick with Georgia on it. I still worried about their wide receiver play, though. But I'm going to go with Georgia just because I picked them as number 1. And I was I felt like they were really young last year. and they can only grow and get better. And my pen does not want to write the name down. I'm trying to write down who everybody picked. My dark horse, golly, I'm battling between a few: Michigan, Southern Cal. Trying to think somebody that can come out of nowhere though. Penn State could actually get good with that new coach. Syracuse.
They have a really easy schedule this year.
Yeah, Syracuse is a tricky one. I'm trying to think somebody in the SEC too, though, that we didn't talk about. I'm tempted to say Alabama. I do think Alabama got the talent. I think they're going to be down in the bottom 20. If all the stars align, they could just go on a roll. And they got a favorable schedule. So maybe that's who I'll pick. Sorry, you'll like that. I'll pick Alabama. It's hard to have Alabama as a dark horse, but they kind of not getting any love this year, so I'm going to change pens. So, I guess that kind of the shoe kind of fits.
I miss Saban.
Maybe I'll say my Tennessee Vols. I don't know. I'm not very high on us this year, but who knows? Maybe I'll pick them too.
Oh, man. Okay, so for me, it's Texas.
Okay.
Look, you went out and you spent all of this money on the transfer portal. You got the best guys. You spent the most money. To me, you should be in that championship conversation. And Arch Manning, he can only get better. Look, I don't really see him struggling, like I said earlier, this year a lot, like he did this past year. He's going to take some strides this year, and he's going to prove some people wrong. So for me, it's Texas.
Okay.
Then their defense is going to show up too, as it did last year.
Okay. And who would be your dark horse?
Man, I don't really know if you consider this a dark horse because, I don't even have LSU in my top 10. They're on the outside looking in, but I'm just going to say LSU.
Well, let's say somebody that wasn't in any of our top 10s. That's something like, yeah. Both Collin and I went with somebody that wasn't in any of our top 10s. How about...
Man.
Tennessee, come on, say it.
No. Dark horse means they have a chance, remember?
Yeah, give me Illinois. Give me Illinois.
Yeah, there's a lot of Big Ten teams that could fit that with, I feel like Southern Cal, Michigan, Washington, Illinois, Iowa, they could all fit in that bill.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it. I think we've probably gone quite a bit over time, so thank everybody for listening. We're hoping to bring you some more football content. Maybe in a few weeks we'll get together again, talk about our teams. We'll do maybe one on Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. Actually go through their schedule, look at their team, and think about how they'll finish the year. I'll make all of us project the record. Then maybe we'll do more of a deep dive. And I'd like to do more of the Big Ten this year, but SEC, Big Ten. Maybe we just do like the better ACC teams, and I don't even know about the Big 12. It's so tough. That's the toughest league to pick. We'll go through and maybe do a few of these. That way, maybe we'll hit like in stride like groups. Like we'll hit LSU, Oklahoma, and Mississippi State one day, and then do Missouri, South Carolina, and Arkansas. Some kind of logic to it. We'll go through and try to do how we think everybody's going to finish. So, I guess before we go, any Collin final thoughts?
I've already said this. It's a really open league this year. I was thinking about it like, I also really like South Carolina. they haven't even been mentioned yet. Sellers and Nick Harbor could go for 6,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. I don't know. It really is that open. I don't know. It's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as wild as. I'm sure some philosopher saw that Indiana was going to win it this last year or something. But I don't think it's going to be that bizarre of a winner. But I don't think. I don't think it's going to be somebody that's generally in people's first four. I think it's going to be a relatively obscure pick.
South Carolina's kind of not a bad choice there to have a good season. Of course, they went 4-8 last year. That's why people wrote them off. But they are. I was looking at teams that have the blue chip ratio, and they're one of the teams in the mix. I think it's Of course, Georgia, the two Texas teams, Alabama, LSU. Ole Miss actually isn't in it because they're mostly depend on transfer. Oklahoma is one of them. Then it's South Carolina and Tennessee. So those are teams with like over 50% of the rosters 4 or 5 stars. South Carolina's actually one of those teams this year in the SEC. So they're probably not a bad pick. I guess on my side, final thoughts. I kind of agree with Collin. It's a wide open year. I think that don't sleep on Miami. Don't sleep on Indiana. Don't sleep on Notre Dame. To me, they almost got easy locks into the playoff. I think the SEC has some work to do to get back its reputation, and we'll see if they could start getting some of it back this year. Sawyer, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to even talk about college football here.
Yeah.
It's at the beginning of summer. So that's my take on it. And I'm looking forward to the year, what it can bring us. And I think, like you all both have said, it's going to be a wide open race this year. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what really intrigues me the most is that I really want to see what Oregon can do. You know, Dan Lanning, prove it.
Yeah.
This is your year. You have got to prove it. If you don't, you may be looking for a different job in the next season or two.
I'm interested to see the SEC 9-game conference schedule. That's going to be. I think it's going to change some stuff up, and
Yeah.
this year too. And Tennessee's schedule is very unique. For the first time in my lifetime, we don't have Florida and we don't have Georgia. We have Auburn again. We got LSU. We haven't played them as much as we probably should have.
Well, that's just a little blasphemous.
We got the hey, you got the battle of the UTs. You got the battle of the UTs.
That's true.
Yeah,
But they're saying as a noon game.
yeah. Well, it's because Tennessee's not that. I don't think Tennessee's gonna be that good. I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, their defense may be good.
Well, we'll talk more about Tennessee when they come around. They could. It's an interesting year for Tennessee. I don't know. I'm not as high on them, but they
Look,
if
I'm
they
not
can
as
win
high as
they
Alabama either.
compete in their home games. They could. I mean, they could make the playoff too. There's so many. South Carolina could make the playoff. The right kind of schedule. So there's people out there who could do it. It's just would they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll have some more content coming. I'm also going to try to keep some other content besides sports coming, and maybe we'll do an NFL one as well, and kind of go do a preseason one as we get close to it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Go visit both this site, Pantry Pirates, and Off the Bench with Sawyer. I'll put the links in the chat. Thank you, everyone.